With the Klingon bird of prey striking fear into the hearts of Federation citizens everywhere, Starfleet Command would order its Starship designers to create a new class of vessel that could go toe-to-toe with their enemies' pride and joy. And eventually, the Stingray Class would be born. But what do we know about this tactical failure? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Stingray Class, a fan design, to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, as previously iterated, the Stingray is a fan design by David Hannon. Browsing through Star Trek groups as I regularly do, I came across this design and it stuck with me as one of the better fan-designed starships. So, as my ability to kit bash 3D models grew, one day I decided to bring this design to life. And now, here we are. But of course, and as always, because this is just a bit of fan fiction, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The Klingon bird of prey. For the Alpha and Beta quadrants, the Klingon bird of prey had been a design that seemed to predate the universe itself. But by the early 2280s, this small and unimportant craft would come to the forefront of everyone's mind, when the Klingon Empire would completely revamp the design, making it a fierce little fighting machine. With its new ability to cloak, as well as a weapons arsenal that could challenge even the best of Starfleet's top-of-the-line starship classes, it would be an understatement to say that the Federation Council was concerned. After several secret high-level meetings, the Federation Council would order Starfleet Command to create a design that could rival the bird of prey, and in their wisdom, or perhaps naivete, Starfleet's best and brightest starship designers would come up with what they believed to be a simple and elegant solution to the problem, by simply rearranging components of the Oberth class to fit the bill. And by 2285, the Stingray Class would be born. Sitting at a length of 137 meters, the Stingray Class would be designed to be operated by 62 officers and crew members. Having to compensate its size to include all Starfleet's current technological developments, including a specially designed vertical warp core, the Stingray Class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 6.5, with an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 9.1 for 16-hour increments. Tactically, the Stingray Class would be well armed for a vessel class of its size, containing specially designed phaser cannons mounted on each of the vessel's fins. The Stingray Class would also contain both a forward and aft torpedo launching system. And thanks to its modified vertical warp core, the Stingray Class's shield systems would be almost as strong as those of Starfleet's best ships of the line. The Stingray Class would also have the ability to engage in atmospheric flight, as well as the ability to land. Retooling the Stingray Class's sensor systems to be tactically focused, it was hoped that this class's sensors could give the vessel the added edge it needed to combat the Klingon bird of prey's cloaking abilities. Several cargo bays capable of storing necessary projectile weaponry, as well as other instruments of war, would be included within the Stingray's design. A single smaller forward-facing shuttle bay would contain a few auxiliary spacecraft for the class, though the true use of this shuttle bay would again be for that of weapons storage, should a mission require it. Overall, the Stingray's beauty and intended function could not be denied by the Federation Council, and therein lied the problem. Put simply, the Stingray Class was over-engineered. In its enthusiasm to place all of Starfleet's newest and best technologies into the class, it would quickly become apparent that there wasn't enough room aboard the vessel, requiring Starfleet's engineers to retool the entire interior of the vessel once again. And when construction was finally completed on the Stingray Class, the vessel's interior would feel very claustrophobic, with areas such as the captain's quarters and sickbay being the size of an old Earth prison cell. Meanwhile, the vaunted specially designed for the class vertical warp core was far too powerful for the design, lighting the starship up like a Christmas tree on enemy scanners at a great distance, allowing the enemy to prepare for any incoming vessel. And finally, unlike the Klingon bird of prey, the Stingray Class would contain no ablative hull armor, as Starfleet had yet to develop that type of technology, meaning, just like her sister science vessel the Oberth Class, she could be easily destroyed by a single torpedo, even without a lucky strike. All of these factors combined would not impress the Federation Council at all, with them declaring the Stingray design a complete failure before it had even finished its shakedown cruise. But all would not be lost for the Stingray class. As you see, several sudden technological developments had occurred since the class's original construction, which had the potential to change the class's fate. Flat panel touchscreen consoles, smaller duotronic circuitry, as well as a smaller computer core would all begin to give the class a bit of breathing room that it truly needed. And with the decision to once again retool the Stingray class, Starfleet Command would divert further resources into redeveloping other technologies, such as the class's warp core, to also be smaller and more functional for the vessel class itself. And although the Stingray class was now a fully functional vessel, events would conspire to ensure this class never truly entered standard production. The 2290s would see the general mood of the galaxy shift in favor of a peaceful one. With a new praetor, the Romulan Star Empire would agree to an exchange of diplomatic personnel, and although declaring that there would be no peace so long as famed Starfleet Captain James T. Kirk was alive, relations with the Klingon Empire had gone from a hot boil to a simple simmer, with both sides seeming to give the other a wide berth. The final nail in the Stingray class's coffin, however, would come with the destruction of the Klingon moon Praxis, which would end up forcing the Klingon Empire to seek the Federation's assistance in evacuating their home world. With all available resources poured into this peace initiative, the Federation Council would quietly bury the Stingray class, focusing itself instead on cementing the goodwill that it had begun to foster with the Klingon Empire. And once the dust settled, in the early 24th century, the decision would be made to scrap the Stingray itself, as it was now an unnecessary and outdated starship design. Created as a response to a perceived threat to the entire Federation, the Stingray class would never truly get a chance to prove itself after its initial failure, earning this class its perhaps undeserved place as a failure in Starfleet history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Stingray class and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel retool its designs to make them work for the Federation? Then consider becoming a channel member subscriber or channel patron, both a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to both memberships is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, live long, and prosper.